Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays Binding of Isaac Afterbirth plus 52 wins in a row. If we did a once weekly Isaac episode, hold on, as soon as I started I got a little ping on the Discord. It's my wife said, "Are you streaming today, son?" Followed by an emote of me as Pennywise from It. Gripsoo! Okay, hold on. Wait, hold on. 6CVN M66V. We got triple shot, which makes it difficult to tell. That must be a library then. Excuse me? That is not a library. It's just a very, very truncated floor. It's hard to tell where we stand, but just go. I mean, you know, I've played enough of this game. I'm not gonna say that, like, you know, my instincts are infallible, but my instinct as of the present moment is that my damage DPS is actually pretty good. You know, I know what bad damage feels like, and this is not it. Now, you know, in a scientific context, that wouldn't really fly, but you know, for our purposes, for now, it'll work. We have Blood Rights, which is definitely a compelling item, very interesting item to think about how we want to use that here. For the time being, not really accomplishing very much for us, but you never know. Particularly if we end up fighting like Larry Jr. or something like that, we could be pretty pogged. Plus, we got the best hairstyle in the game right now. For now, I would say try to get Little Haunt in on the action, and we're definitely rooting. We're kind of like, we're rooting for a Tears or a Damage upgrade, but we're definitely kind of in that camp where, like, every stat could use a little sauce. Even a little HP doesn't burn me up. I'd love to go to our curse room. I was hoping we'd get a bomb. We actually could have purchased some stuff from the shop, because there was a the shopkeeper with coins in his eyes. However, that will not be coming to pass. How am I doing? I'm doing well, thank you for asking. You know, in the recording grind with the indeterminate end date for the time being. It's going well. Mostly just, can I tell you, I'm very pleased. I know that, you know, it used to be like, oh, there's a grocery episode, oh, it's an airplane episode, oh, it's a movie episode. Now, because of, you know, I guess I can't really call it quarantine anymore because everybody's, like, outside, but, you know, because of trying not to go outside as often as possible, I have no anecdotes, so, like, every second episode is about sleep. But I realized I actually have, like, the inverted YouTuber sleep schedule, or a problem with the YouTuber sleep schedule I'm starting to get to. You know how most YouTubers, and this is a little bit of, it's not really punching down, but it's a little insensitive, I'll acknowledge it in advance, but, not that, you know, absolves me of what I'm about to say, but it's also not that bad. I don't know why I'm building it up so far. But most YouTubers are like, you know, I couldn't get to sleep last night, so I gotta move my stream, because I couldn't wake up at noon anymore, so I gotta sleep until 2, and then, you know, you get the idea. And then because you wake up at 2 p.m. instead of noon, you can't go to bed at 7 a.m. like you normally do, or 5 a.m. like you normally do. You gotta go to bed at, you know, 8 a.m. when you're tired, and then the next day you're like, oh, I gotta wake up at 4, you know, and it just keeps going. I have, like, the opposite thing right now, and I'm not complaining. I'm actually, like, very stoked about it. I have been, you know, working a lot, which makes me pretty tired. You know, even though my job is not really that physical, I will maintain until my dying day that although it is not physical, the banter plus gameplay makes your brain burn more energy than, like, not than, like, you know, landscaping or anything like that, but more than, like, clerical work. Anyway, hold on. Before we get to this bit, let me see what we got here. We definitely want it. We don't necessarily need to take it yet. I mean, we're definitely gonna go here. Honestly, I really, you're gonna laugh. This is how, you know, pseudo-enlightened I've become in this game. I just don't see a reason to take Little Brim alongside what we got. Like, I know we are also charging up shots, but I think the HP is more valuable for us, and this for me represents an evolution of my abilities as a gamer, I think. My analysis as a gamer. But yeah, so it's tempting, actually. But as a result of, you know, working hard, and we will still take this, I get tired earlier. So, you know, I used to go to bed at, like, you know, 1, and then, like, you know, 12, and then 12:30, or I'm not really going in any linear direction, I guess, with only 3 data points here, but you get the idea. And let's not even go to our curse room, because our HP is still pretty low. Maybe we get some more finances, I'll consider it, but for the time being, I think we're just good. Oh, I should have used notched axe on the freaking tinted rock. I didn't even know there was one there. Anyway. So I've been waking up earlier as a result of going to bed earlier. But because I've been waking up earlier, I've been getting tired earlier. Because I'm getting tired earlier, I'm going to bed earlier. And I think you can see where this is going. I'm waking up earlier as a result, and I just keep, like, working myself back down into, like, normalcy. And I gotta tell you, I'm here for it. I would never suggest, you know, like, if you got problems sleeping, forehead, just go to bed earlier, because sometimes, you know, if you're used to going to bed at, like, you know, 1 a.m. and you're like, maybe tonight I'll go to bed at 10. Oftentimes you end up, you know, just laying in bed until 4, you know, which is not an ideal circumstance for sure. But I'm very happy to have found myself in the opposite side of the way that people, myself included, have normally been. I mean, it's always easier to stay awake longer than to go to sleep earlier, I think. I would never deny that. That's why, like, jet lag is weird. Not that I jet lag. Ooh, remember when that used to be a thing we could experience? Papa? Tell me again when you used to fly in the metal birds across the ocean. Well, back in the day when the airline industry still existed, you could just, you know, sit in a chair and fly to England. Sweetheart? England? You mean the former? Okay, we're not gonna continue with that bit. The former Elizabethan monarchy? That's where I was gonna go with it, but I don't know. I didn't want to get too. Look. That's the kind of bit we got to be a little bit careful of. You never know where it's gonna go until it gets there. You know what? We're gonna hit you with one of those. This run, by the way, is not, or at least should not be, really too dangerous. Mom's knife, you know, decent damage. HP is not incredible, but is adequate. Probably at the minimum level of adequacy, but is adequate nonetheless. All we need to do is really get a couple of spirit hearts would help out a great deal. This is, I'd say we're in threat level light green. I don't know, do we... You know what? Let's practice our new philosophy of, like, if Explosivo doesn't really do anything for us. And it really only would if we got, like, Fate's Reward, I think. Maybe we'll get a Perthrow or something. And we can re-roll it. But if we don't get a Perthrow, who cares? Because, it is doing nothing for us anyway. I think we do want to try to get... Humbling bundle here. I mean, we've been very kind to our donation machine. We don't need to be negative about it. And we can make up a little bit of extra cash just by grabbing this, leaving, coming back in. There you go. Becomes 6 cents. I think we definitely want that. And we'll be moving on. But yeah, I've definitely got the I got the opposite problem with most YouTubers now. I'm feeling pretty stoked about it. My sleep schedule is, like, pretty healthy. Like, now I used to get mad when I slept in till, like, 11, which I'll admit is, like, a luxury that most people in their 30s are not afforded. I'm not trying to say, like, that's, oh, woe is me. I had to, when I wake up at 11, I'm like, I've wasted half the day. But now, like, today I slept in a little bit. I woke up at, like, 8:45, and I was like, oh, crap. Means I won't be able to get started recording before 9. I don't know if it's like my body's way of preparing me for dadhood or whatever. The plan right now is definitely, you know, I'm sure that the baby's gonna wake both of us up all the time. But the plan right now is for me to take the morning shift, and my wife to take the evening shift. Whenever, and it's not like, oh, you know, hey, this one's yours. Like, if it's 8 p.m., I'm not gonna be like, at least I don't anticipate myself being like, I don't know what it's gonna be like when it happens. Maybe I will be like, that's your duty. But, you know, it's more just so you have, like, some expectations, you know? Instead of going into it willy-nilly, we'll just figure it out on the fly, you know? It's more like, hey, there's an expectation, you know, that most of the time, if it's at night, you're gonna handle it. If it's during the day, then it's gonna be my, priority. But, it makes sense, because I am coming... I've learned a lot about myself over the past few years, you know? I never went on a journey to find myself, but I don't think I need to. I think, you know, honestly, one of the best things I've ever done for finding myself, quote-unquote, is get into this as a line of work, because you really learn a lot about yourself when you listen to yourself talk for, like, 8 hours a day to yourself, or to other people from time to time. But I think that I am actually a morning person who has masqueraded as a night owl for, like, a decade, maybe a decade and a half. But I believe that, like, in my baked-in circadian rhythm, I'm more of a morning person, to be honest. My wife is definitely more of a night owl. I can tell you, because, like, here's the question that I always think about. Like, if you had to deal with something, like, stressful in your day, when do you want to deal with it? Do you want to deal with it, like, in the afternoon? Or, like, let's say, like, 6 hours, 8 hours after you wake up? Do you want to deal with it, you know, at night? Or do you want to deal with it, like, first thing? I'm actually, I think for a while I've been an avoider and a delayer, but now I'm much more in the habit of being like, okay, it's like 9 a.m. Let's, you know, do that phone call that I've been dreading or whatever. You know, let's fill out that form. Let's, you know, shoot the email, etc., etc. My wife is very much not in that group. She'll hit me, and it's not with malice. But she'll hit me at, like, you know, 15 minutes before bed and be like, you know, she'll hit me with a stressful question. Do you know where the title for our car is? And I'm like, I'm winding down right now. I don't know. I lost it in that street race with Vin Diesel, remember? Honestly, it's kind of like an unfun thing here, but I'm not going to pick up any of that. We just don't need it. Whereas, like, I'm the exact opposite. At, like, 9 a.m., I'm pogged up. I'm ready to, like, you know, get into some serious negotiations or whatever. So I think it's sensible. I think it's sensible. Okay. This one has hurt me a little bit because we definitely had a great chance to actually become Guppy. But it's not really hurting me that much because we also have Mom's Knife, great damage, you know, Gimpy. We got some incredible, we got some setups here that are going to be good for us. I'm now realizing as well, there's a lot of enemies we don't take contact damage against that we could just walk into and try to make the virus give us some HP. Like, I don't know if those, skulls do contact damage? I guess I'm not going to worry about it. We're really, like, a better spacebar item is a big play here. That's something that I would be supremely interested in. I don't mind the one we got. But with the HP that we have, we're only able to really use it once. At a time, I should say, at least. But anyway, yeah, that's, I mean, you know, what else do you think's going on? You know, it's Spelunky 2 release week, playing some Spelunky 2. Still have not, I've had some good runs, but I definitely have not had any runs where I was like, oh, we're taking this to the freaking stratosphere yet. But you know what, it comes in time. It's very humbling to get back into the mindset of, like, being bad at Spelunky after, honestly, being, I'll just say it, being a little entitled to think that, oh, because I've invested so much time in Spelunky 1, like, we're definitely gonna crush Spelunky 2. They did a really good job balancing the difficulty in it. It's pretty freaking hard. Okay, I gotta say, Blood Rights and Gimpy are doing some... They're making incredible music together. Lovers, actually pretty useful, honestly. But we'll be getting the heck out of here. I mean, this run is set in stone. And every single one we can put up in the win column here is a extremely chef's kiss moment for me. Again, we're probably only like halfway to my best streak ever. I'm at that point now, and it happens in Trackmania in every video. It doesn't happen in Isaac very often. I'm actually resentful of my own past success. Because I didn't know how good I had it. You know, in 2015, when I had a 115 streak, I didn't even really, like, adjust my playing style. I just, like, won a lot. It's like, you know, how they say youth is wasted on the young? Like, that's how I feel about my streak. I was like, I didn't put any discipline into that. It's like when, like, a 16-year-old gives you nutrition advice. You know, adults are like, well, I tried not to eat anything late at night that'll spike my blood sugar because it leads to increased cortisol, which leads to increased fat storage. And 16-year-olds are like, bro, you got it all backwards. Just eat whatever you want, but, like, not too much and stay skinny forever. That's what I do. And I'm like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Your metabolic engine is at, like, a... You got, like, a hyperdrive in there. The human body was not made to get past even, like, 40 years old, you know? Everything's starting to shut down, and it's more like, you know, like youth is like takeoff. And I'm not even that old yet, so I apologize for this bit. And this is not even what I truly believe, but I think it'll be funny nonetheless, so let's go down this road. Youth is like, you know, takeoff. You know, you're climbing, we could go into outer space. Once you get past, like, middle age, it's like the engines on the plane went out. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean you're gonna crash, but you gotta do everything in your power to glide as long as possible. You can glide safely, but you don't wanna put too much pressure on the craft, or it might start to fall apart. How's that for a metaphor? I don't know. I don't look at, I mean, you know this if you've watched a lot of episodes. I don't look at old age cynically at all. At all. Especially, like, middle age. Now when people... sometimes, well, you know... This is not meant to disrespect my co-hosts, but, you know, some of my co-hosts will be like, you know, my life's over, I'm 28. I'm like, you don't know what the heck you're... Yeah, okay, like, if your idea of life was like, I'm gonna be the youngest person to ever get 100 straight #1 singles on the Billboard Hot 100. Yeah, you're screwed. It doesn't mean, like, you know, at 28, you're like, I'm breaking down. You start to break down, not in, like, a horrible way. You know, here's the thing. There's beauty in the breakdown, right? Like the song from the Garden State trailer. You know what else breaks down? Milk into yogurt and cheese. Would you rather have a glass of milk, or would you rather have some cheese and yogurt? I mean, it's an easy choice, right? For me. Did you know, by the way, so I was looking into American states the other day. Oh, you're so weird, NL. It's not weird, it's just what I do, okay? I was like, oh, I wonder, you know, I'd like to know more about the history of Kentucky. Did you know that on every state's on every American state's Wikipedia page, there is something called, like, it's like an inorganic... You know what? Let me just check here. Basically, it's a list of, like, the official X of everything. You know, like the official dance, the official you know, song of Kentucky. So here I'm looking at Kentucky. Let me bust this out for you. Wikipedia. Officially called the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Oh, well, somebody's got a high opinion of themselves. Where is it here? Scrolling. Inanimate insignia. This is very real. You can look it up for all 50 states. Here's the inanimate insignia of Kentucky. Official beverage, milk. Official dance, clogging. Official food, blackberry. Official fossil, the brachiopod. All right. The official rock, Kentucky agate. I don't know, maybe it's agate. Official other, Chevrolet Corvette state sports car. They have a state sports car. Admittedly, when I first read this, I was kind of like, I mean, I was laughing. One of the reasons I was laughing is I checked like 12 states, and every single one of them had milk as their official beverage, which is just... it's a little... It's just weird, right? Like, they're all like, has somebody taken milk? And then they're like, yeah, sorry. And they're like, but I like milk. And I was like, it's just like the, you know... Things are so very serious in the world right now, and perhaps particularly in the United States. It's just kind of funny to go to, like, you know, the homepage of Missouri and be like, our official state food is ice cream, you know? It's just like a weird juxtaposition of weirdly, arbitrarily mundane celebration combined with get her done. But anyway... I gotta examine more of these, dude. I gotta know, like, how this came to pass. Like, first off, I need to know how clogging became Kentucky's official dance. Because that sounds like a story. And then also, secondarily, I need to know how at Wikipedia it came to the point where editors decided this should be included on every state's boilerplate header. I mean, I guess if you're looking at what's the most important thing people look for when they look up a state on Wikipedia, they're probably looking for population, or maybe area, or maybe capital, or maybe, like, you know, highest and lowest altitude or something, maybe economy, census data, etc., etc. There must have been, like, one very influential person who was like, what's the state fossil of Virginia? I know that one. It's the Jeffersonian sloth or something. I'm not even messing with you. I'm not, I swear to God, I'm not messing with you. I don't, maybe it's not called the Jeffersonian sloth, but it's something of the ilk. It's just very strange. But it's kind of endearing as well, you know? Now I'm like, oh, if I ever go to Missouri, I gotta have some of the ice cream. It's the official state dessert. By the way, it's not like America's unique in this. Canada's, you know, it's got its own unique brand of weirdness, don't get me wrong. People out here, I'm not saying it's a regular occurrence, but as a child, at a friend's house, was I ever offered a dessert consisting of snow with maple syrup poured on it? Yes, I was. Did it taste good? Yes. Because it's just maple syrup. But, I mean, it's a little strange, right? And you're like, did you get the yellow snow? No, ha ha ha, good one. You think I never heard that one growing up in the frozen north? You just pick the snow that's not dirty. It's not like you can wash it first. But I guess it's not really that weird to, like, eat snow compared to... Well, not compared to anything, but it's like, it's just like nature's binsu, right? Anyway, we're moving on. That was how I occupied myself before bed last night. I was like, you know, let's see what the state footwear of West Virginia is. I got nothing. Like I said, I'm trying not to, like, leave the house, especially now. Getting kind of close to the moment. Again, every single episode I record and every backlog I add, or every video I add to the backlog. We got so lucky to not get hit there. Kind of takes me like one step closer to, you know, this might be the first one that comes out post-birth. By the way, people have been joking about the backlog. They're like, I look forward to, you know, the first post-backlog video that talks about the birth in 8 years. Dude, honestly, the backlog is not that big right now. I don't know how much time you think exists in a day, but, like, we've been doing, you know, 2 Spelunky 2 videos a day, a Fall Guys video a day, a long, usually, Monster Train episode a day, Isaac a day, Trackmania most days, although it's been a little varied so far, I'll admit. GeoGuessr 3 times a week. And then also on top of that, you know, the normal streams. So, like, it's hard to backlog to that extent. The backlog is not huge right now. Not to mention, like, this week that's just gone by has been, like, pretty work-heavy in a good way. But the weeks that were, like, recording heavy. But the weeks that were prior to that, we had a lot of sponsored stuff come up that, it sucked up a lot of time in a good way, but still, at the same time, we're like, you know, wouldn't mind recording as well. By the way, I've been holding this black rune for too long. Mom's knife has made me a little complacent here. We're okay. We can use it on the next floor. We can use it on the next floor. You know what's more anxiety-inducing than having a Discord notification? Is seeing that for, you know, like the last half hour, I've had a Discord notification, and now I have none. It's like somebody pinged me, and then was like, oh, he didn't get back to me in time, and now I'm dead! Oh, she laughed. Was it you? It was not Kate. Well, honestly, that's a load off my shoulders, because most of the Discord messages I get that are important come from my wife. A lot of the rest of them are like people, and I'm not trying to be rude, but they step over the line. In the Discord, they think that their Trackmania strategy is uniquely important to being read, you know, and they hit me with the @NL, and then I go, oh, you're lucky. You're lucky that you've, you know, graced me with your fandom for years, and as a result, I don't feel like it would even be close to appropriate to be mad about this. And again, you know, I don't want to be like, oh, I never want to read the constructive criticism. It's more like, you know, I choose like a time of the day to scroll through the comments, to be inundated with it at your leisure instead of at my leisure. It's like the difference between sending like an emergency alert and then like a letter, you know? You get a letter, you're like, you know, I'll get back to it at my leisure. You get an emergency alert on your phone, you're like, what the heck, is 4 a.m.? Alright. Dude, I mean, we might as... I mean, you know what? You know, okay, I'm gonna pick it up. This feels like kind of a weird run. Can I say that, despite having Mom's knife? I don't mean it in a bad way. Like, it's been a very easy run to kind of pog off on. When I pog off, they gave me just a little bit of lockjaw. But, it's like, I feel like I've been more conservative than I've ever been in Isaac. To not take so many different items that would have provided almost nothing, but also would have impeded us so very little. I don't feel bad about it, because the items would have given us, like, quite literally no synergy whatsoever. But I don't know, I actually take it as, like, a big positive. Like, I feel like I'm starting to really appreciate the value of, like, 1 HP versus, you know, an unnecessary 7 seals, you know what I mean? I think that's the kind of, like, methodology that could lead to you having a nice long streak. Okay, 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 these are all getting smoked. Look, we could have been happy with the fly, but it's very, very unnecessary. So we're going up to this is 53, I think. Very exciting. I don't know if I've ever hit a 53 win streak in anything else. Well, that's not true, because, you know, I as a child, and even, like, as an adult, I played a lot of sports games. But as a child, you know, I always played sports games, not on the easiest difficulty, but on the easiest difficulty that I never lost on. I think this is a very relatable bit. You know, as an adult, I would be just insanely bored, I think, if I was playing, like, you know, a season of Madden, and I went 16-0 easily every single time. You know, especially if you're winning Like, if there's close games, whatever. But if you're just stomping, you know, like 42-0 every time, then, you know, you're kind of like, what's the point? I'm just pressing buttons. But as a kid, if I ever lost the game against the AI, I was like, why the heck am I even doing this? Crank the difficulty down. Now, I will say, I still played most sports games on the second highest or the highest difficulty level. That's the benefit of being an only child who was not burdened by chores. I got to invest a lot of time in developing skills in the EA and 2K NHL games, which has not really translated in any meaningful way to my real life, but that's okay. I'll take it. I mean, it's not like we're not going to be too picky, but we're also not going to be too concerned. So I would routinely bust out like an 82-0 season. But then even, you like, you know, I don't know if anybody else has the same thing if you play sports games like in a franchise. I'm always like, oh, I'm so, the idea of like running a franchise for 20 years, you know, being a general manager, it appeals to me like in a football manager sort of way. And then I finish one season and I'm like, I want to be a different team now. I don't actually want to do the general manager stuff. I just want to do like one season of it, and then if like I don't get the #1 draft pick in a lopsided trade, I'm like, screw this. Let's become the Montreal Canadiens and lead them to their next dynasty. All right. Pretty much just one of these set it and forget it boss fights. Very good run. Very, very happy. I mean, I'm just thankful to the gods of Isaac. I think it might be the first time the virus is paid out on the whole run. But I'm thankful to the gods of Isaac for giving me an easy dub there. And also, anytime we get more HP, I'm happy. Or we get more than 1 HP to start with. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. That was a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. See ya.